How super cool was that? Oh my goodness. And I'll get my groove on with the music as well. So, welcome to today's webinar, Build a Culture That Goes Beyond Compliance. Happy Tuesday. I think those people in New South Wales and Queensland had a public holiday yesterday, which was super awesome. Finally get to equalise with the Melburnians or Victorians that had an AFL day off the week before. But it's great to have you guys join with us. And it's my pleasure to host today's webinar. So, slide. I'd just like to acknowledge that I am on Wongal land today. I pay my respects to the elders past and present, and my appreciation for being able to work and play on Wongal land. Slide. So hopefully you know me. I'm Michelle Wickie. I'm the Chief Customer Officer at Ausmed, and it's my pleasure to introduce Robbie Russo. He's the Chief Product Officer at Ausmed. Robbie has a background in engineering and business development. He's also responsible now for guiding product strategy development and innovation across the organisation. He does sometimes have a side hustle in trying to herd me into spots, but he's failing at that dismally at the moment. Emma Pusey is the Learning Innovation Lead at Ausmed. She's got a clinical background in intensive care nursing and now focuses on driving innovation in healthcare education, ensuring that learning content is practical, relevant, and aligned with our workforce capability goals. And she's a fellow nurse, so we're on the same team. Let's switch to the agenda, please. Awesome, nice slide clicking, by the way, in the background. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about why we built Ausmed Perform, how actually customers were calling out for it and we designed it with them, but let me not go into those details. We're going to talk about how we're facing, well, it's coming from the front line in terms of how it works and proof that it works. We're also going to talk about how it works. I think I already said that. Content, and then next steps. So it's with pleasure I throw it over to Robbie, who's going to take us through the first bits of the agenda.
Excellent. Thanks, Michelle, and thanks everyone for coming today. So today we'll be talking about Ausmed Perform, and we see this as a really critical part of our workforce capability system that we're building here at Ausmed. It's foundational, connects into learning, and is really how we enact the development part of the learning and development and capability that we want to build. So coming into why we built Ausmed Perform and the real problems that we saw about it. So we actually started talking to our customers about Ausmed Perform, if you believe it or not, late 2023, when we saw a few of our organizations trying to use the Ausmed LMS to run their performance programs. And when we reached out to these customers, the organizations that we work with, about it and started developing this product with them, there was a range of really common problems we saw about how performance programs were run in healthcare, really about inconsistent and overdue appraisals, how processes were fragmented and different pieces needed to kind of come together so you could run those effectively, the audit requirements and regulatory requirements about how we demonstrate that we've been doing these, and how we actually support managers and staff to have these conversations in an environment where there's a lot of interruptions and it can be difficult to schedule, 30 minutes here or 30 minutes there. So how do we kind of support you to put those programs? And really we're seeing them, individuals spending upwards of 10 to 15 hours a week, just kind of trying to get all of these things together. So that's why we built Ausmed Perform. And the results from working with these organizations to develop it have been really, really promising and quite incredible. So we've seen, upwards of 130% increase in monthly reviews. We've seen a significant, approximately 90% reduction in HR administrative time, and really, really positive feedback from staff and managers. And this is really important because it means that staff are being recognized, heard, that feedback's coming in. We can demonstrate compliance and generally have more time for kind of better activities than just sending emails or trying to schedule events. So we have a range of customer stories that you can see on our website from different organizations that have adopted Ausmed Perform, the challenges they were facing and the changes they made using the product. So really recommend you reach out to the website, download those, listen to some of their stories and see the changes that they've made. But how Ausmed Perform works and how all these different pieces fit together, we have our programs, and they're really about driving consistent processes for new starters, whether it's in the probation phase, annual reviews for head office, frontline staff, care workers, RNs, however we set that up so that all of those staff are getting the same activities at the same time and when you expect them to do it. Following up with a lot of automations. That's really how we kind of reduce the administrative burden around that. Really taking all the things that were emails or manual reminders in person and making that all automated for your staff and managers, and making sure the manager has the ability to drive that and complete it themselves. And then also integrating those other aspects, both from Ausmed itself, so the learning policies, but also some new features like the ability to give feedback directly to staff, include perform notes, just so for any activities or incidents or conversations that we have that we feel should be logged, and then supporting all of that with the reporting that Ausmed is really kind of well known for, that's really solid, so you can get those insights, present it to auditors, and generally use that information to improve the care you provide. So how have we seen Ausmed Perform used? Well, we've seen it used for a heap of different things, from probation programs, just ad hoc catch-ups, or even catch-up annual reviews if we've let that lapse while we've been preparing for the new standards, or perhaps have had a few things on. Performance observations, so perhaps recording all those emails we might send out in one place. Annual reviews, moving to a more self-led assessment model, so sending out self-assessments to staff to fill out and then managers to give feedback on, rather than waiting just on meetings. And also recognition programs, so how we give feedback and stuff and whatnot to staff, report on it, and then communicate who's really been doing a great job. So now I'm going to jump into a demo, and I'm going to walk through kind of the three real major groups we see here, which is the staff experience, the manager experience, and then a bit more about the administrative experience and how we set this up. So jump into the staff experience here. Here you can just see Ausmed. So Ausmed you know and love. We can see our learning, and then also we can see our performance reviews and policies all in one place. So for our staff, once they're enrolled in a training plan and performance programs, all of that information comes to them in one place. So they can access this on the web app and the mobile app. They'll get reminders like they do with their learning, when things open, when things are overdue, when it's due soon. All of that works exactly the same way. So we've seen really strong adoption with staff, not a lot of time to get them up to speed because it's really what they're used to doing. And when they come in here, all they need to do, we can see here I have my 3-month probation checking, which was due yesterday. I can come in, click it, click continue, and I can see what I've been working through. So staff can come in, save this as a draft. They can complete this kind of in parts. They can come back to it. But these questions, totally customizable. We have a bunch of content, which Emma will take you through to help you set these up. But if you already have your own programs or own ideas, you can use them. So basically, staff member will come through here, work through it all. And then when they're happy, they simply hit submit. And this will all be saved on their profile. So you'll see here, it's now awaiting manager feedback. They can see all of their responses. So they have a copy that they keep on their own file, which is really important. So they can come and review it, look at it, use it to improve and form their own plans as well. And yeah, so that's all there. The staff will also be able to see feedback that you've been giving them too. So if I come in here, you can see the feedback that the staff members receive. They can see the source of that feedback, and they can also acknowledge that feedback, which will then go back to you as a manager. So all of this, these activities, these tasks, these meetings, these self-assessments really fit well with how your staff are already using Ausmed for their learning, and all kind of just brings it together so it's one place for them to move through all of those activities. So now I'm going to move to the manager experience over here and what this looks like for your managers. For them to access it, all they'll need to do once you've set them up is just click View Perform Tasks. And what that will do is it will take them right here. And this is where all of the managers' tasks sit. So we found onboarding managers to be a really smooth process because we just ask them to go to this one place and simply make sure nothing is overdue. So they'll get reminders like the staff when things are due, when things are overdue. They'll get emails when staff complete a self-assessment that they need to make comments. So all of this will sit here for them. And this task list is broken up to things that require their action and things that require their staff action. It's broken up further to things that are due later, next week, this week, and things that are overdue to help them prioritize and work through that list. But once they're in here and they need to do something, all they need to do is click open, and this will take them to the activity that they're completing. In this case, it's a site induction checklist for probation. You can see they've worked through it already. They have some comments, so they've kind of gone out, come in, which is one of the really nifty features. You can save it as a draft, move back through. And then on the right-hand side, you can actually see all of the other information Ausmed has about the staff member in context. So we can see that this staff member is non-compliant with cybersecurity and standard 1. And so this training's overdue, it was due a few days ago, and now they need to complete it. We can also see they have a few policies they need to acknowledge. We can come in and see any goals that they've been assigned as well, any feedback they've received, and also any performance notes that we've added. So all of this information is really contextualized for your managers throughout, saving them a lot of kind of administration of checking with you. Have they done their learning? Have they acknowledged their policies? What programs are they enrolled in? All of this is in one place. So work through, we can fill it out. And when we're finished and the manager's happy with it, they simply click mark as complete. And this task is now finished. It's completed, it's recorded for the organization and you as the administrator on your side, and the staff member will be emailed a copy of this saying it's been completed, and they'll be available on the Ausmed platform for them to look at and review that feedback. Through here. So now we can see that task is complete and that's all done. So what we can also do through here is we can add performance notes. So these are private notes that only the manager can see. So I can select an individual. I can choose the date something occurred. I can add my notes in here. So I might copy paste an email is a really common one that we've seen when we've sent an email to a staff member about something and we just want to make a record that we can reference in our next annual review. I can attach that as an evidence, so I can upload a file or maybe link to it. Can tag sentiment, positive, neutral, constructive, types of behavior, follow-up actions, and link to any standards and frameworks that we've added as well. I can also add goals from here as a manager and give feedback to my staff. So basically for your managers, the message is to anyone that needs to run these programs, please just go to your task list in Ausmed Perform to work through everything that you need to do. So now I'm going to jump to the administrator experience and show you a few parts here, which is how the programs work and how you can set these up. So I'm just going to walk through an example of one we've already created, which is our probation cycle. So we've seen the probation programs be really popular. And you can see here, this kind of looks pretty familiar to our training plans. So for people who have used Ausmed before, this is a really, hopefully something that's really intuitive and easy for you to understand. But if we come into our activity schedule here, we can see our probation program has 3 steps to it. The first one is our site induction checklist. That is scheduled after 1 month, and the staff member will have 1 month to complete it. So whenever we enroll someone into this, both the staff member and the manager will be notified and they can work through it. We also have a 3-month check-in, which is a self-assessment. And then at 5 months, we have our final meeting. So you can customize these. You can add as few or as many activities as you'd like. But there's a lot of ways we've seen this used. It's really flexible and it's designed to support how your organization works and works for you and the different rhythms and operations that you have. We'd really love to show you more about how you can set this up. So please do reach out to our sales team on that one. You also, as an administrator, will have a bunch of ways that you can manage these tasks. So you'll have the calendar view here. So you'll see when everything's scheduled, you'll be able to move through. You'll also be able to see workrooms, so things that are overdue for the staff, for the manager, things that are open, just so you can support this, your team to work through it really effectively. And one of the really popular features is you can actually see all of these tasks by manager. So you're able to see which of your managers are behind, which are ahead, which may need support. So it really takes the burden off the administrators to be the one who's responsible for scheduling and setting everything up, and allows you to empower the managers for them to organize and set up everything that they need to do. Finally, I'm just going to really quickly touch on reporting, and probably my favorite report that we've seen so far, which is the activity report. And what the activity report here allows you to do, if I just click, it will allow you to basically pull all of the responses from staff or managers for any self-assessment that or meeting that you've sent out, and view all of the responses. So it means that all of this information is not sitting in a Word document or some hard to access files or place that you've put it all. But you can kind of come in here and see all of it. So you can see who said yes to a question, who said no, who's had difficulty receiving their uniform and name badge. So there's a whole range of ways that we've seen this used. This information change different initiatives at organisations. But so that's how the reporting works. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that. And if you'd like to learn more, please reach out to our team. But now I'm going to come back to our presentation and hand over to Emma, who's going to talk about the content aspect of this.
Thanks so much, Robbie, and thank you all for coming. I'm really excited about this product, and it's really exciting that we're able to work on this from the content side of things as well as product. So from the content lens of things, one blocker for performance reviews is more so around that content, and managers who maybe are new or a little unsure and often ask, what do I actually say? How do I give feedback that's constructive but also psychologically safe, which we're seeing a lot at the moment. And also, how do I make sure it's compliant? So it's not just a tick box exercise. We want to make sure we're actually driving a change in culture and making sure that people feel really supported. And so that's why the content in this product is really critical. So we want to give managers and staff the confidence, ensure that these reviews stand up to compliance requirements, and also create a growth-minded culture rather than just a tick box exercise. So we want to reduce the risk for the organisation as well, because that every review is anchored in legal, regulatory, and governance frameworks. So that's what we've really tried to provide in the content in this product. So sometimes starting is the hardest part, and that's why we find that this content is going to be helpful. So with the programs and activities, these are all embedded with legal and regulatory frameworks. They're reviewed by subject matter experts and kept up to date by us. So they're designed to fill you with the confidence and psychological safety for managers and staff who are using this product, that that's all embedded into it. But what I really like about this is that despite these being ready to go templates that you can use, you can also adapt them to your needs. You can draw from our own question banks that we've provided and then extend that with what you already have, or add your own content indirectly. So it's really customizable to you. And what we're finding is that also makes it quite scalable. So you can keep the consistency across your workforce, but still tailor it to your own policies, culture, management styles, and whatnot. So the aim with this content really is to make it as simple as possible. And an extra, added bonus to this is we've created a performance review guide in our toolbox guides. And the idea behind that is to walk managers step by step through a best practice review with phrasing, checklists, conversation examples, you name it, it's probably in there. And that again is to just provide support to managers and staff alike to ensure that they really feel supported through that entire performance review cycle. And you'll get access to this after the webinar as well. But I'll hand it back over to Robbie. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Emma. So, so all of this really, the reason we're doing all of this is because by supporting our staff to develop their capability, giving them that coaching, making sure they feel psychologically safe, we want to turn that into better care outcomes. So I just wanted to end on one of kind of my favorite stories from the pilot and how we've developed the product with our partner organizations, which is they were able to access through Ausmed the kind of staff learning needs where they felt they had gaps and what they kind of needed support with. And what they noticed a common thread was, and this was before the staff members had even had their meetings with managers, but the staff wanted more support in palliative care, specifically how to handle a body after death. So a really difficult part of the job, particularly in aged care. And what they were able to do kind of immediately after getting this information and recognizing that was a challenge that staff were facing was they went and reviewed their policies, they put together a training program, pushed that all out through Ausmed, and staff were able to get that information and get that support they needed to improve the care that they were providing. So I think finishing off, like, why do we need this? Why do we think it's such an important part of the capability system that Ausmed is providing to the sector? It's because of that. It's because by supporting and listening to staff and making sure they feel heard throughout that process, we're better able to identify the initiatives that we can enact that will help them to improve the care residents, clients, patients receive. So yeah, that's Ausmed Perform. Really hope you reach out to learn more, but I'll hand back to Michelle to take us home.
I'm here to take you home. So super good. I think there were some questions in the audience chat. If you didn't put yours in, but you have some, please add them now. And I'll slow down my talking while you add your questions in, and we'll try and fire some stuff back at you. If you liked what you saw, then please scan this code or reach out. There's a number of ways you can reach out. You can always reach out through the manager support email. You can also reach out on our support line. I'm going to pull that number up while I'm still yabbering at you guys. It's 1300 287 633. If the people taking your call or the email can't answer your question about Perform, they'll definitely be able to direct you to someone who will make a meeting with you to answer questions. You also have an account manager and a CS rep, if you're already with us, that you can chat to and ask them to demo it further, or see how some things would work out in the system the way you might like them to, or explore some functionality a bit deeper as you need. So I'm just still slowing my speaking while you're adding chats in. It's been great to have you with us. Thanks for your time. Hopefully we've excited you with some new product at Ausmed, and this will serve you better as you keep making a difference in the sector. Please reach out. Can't think of anything else I need to say. Anything? It's great. Great to have you. See you at the next webinar or Managers Workshop. Have a great day.